What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another market update, this time for loose, and almost all of these are complete vintage Star Wars figures, vehicles, and the like. Most of these are actually last 17 figures. I don't know what it is. Everything goes in waves. And for this batch, there were a lot of auctions for ungraded, complete, loose, last 17 figures. And the prices were kind of all over the map. As you can see, we've got a couple of Ewoks series figures and two different Jawa sandcrawlers sold. One of them incomplete, one of them complete. And as you'd expect, the prices were pretty high. So I want to go ahead and dig right in, and let's see what we can start with here. The first one is a 12-inch Boba Fett complete. This is the original. It looked to be in fantastic condition, and it seems like pretty consistently now the price for the 12-inch Boba Fett, if it's complete and in really good shape, it's anywhere from about $350 all the way up to about $450. In this case, this one sold in an auction for $340 plus $13 shipping. So this one kind of came in towards the lower end of the range. It had some minor scuffs here and there, but in general, it was in pretty great shape, probably like an 80 grade condition. But this is a great looking figure, and I have seen a few of these graded by CAS, kind of loose graded, and they look really nice inside the acrylic carbonite. The irony of having a Boba Fett encased in acrylic carbonite, given that he is the one usually doing the encasing of Han Solo. So anyway, that one did sell for $340. Next up was the original Star Wars X-Wing Fighter, 1977. This one did not have the long play logo on the box. This is kind of the second release version. It included the box and the insert, but it had been stickers applied. The ship was in okay condition. You know, obviously it's got some yellowing to the wings there, which does happen. But so this is not like a qualified grade sample. This is one that's been played with, but it did include the insert and the original box. And that one sold in an auction for $305 on 24 bids plus $25 shipping. Here are the two different sand crawlers that sold. So this one is the battery-operated 1979 sand crawler, which is very tough to find and very expensive. This one is missing. This one was missing the remote as well as the elevator and ladder. Those are the two most common things that are missing. And so this one is just the actual sand crawler, although it was advertised as working electronics. This one sold for $330 on 36 bids. And then here was another one that sold. This one included the remote and the elevator, which are the two most common missing parts. And this one sold in an auction for $636. So almost double to get it 100% complete versus an incomplete one. But that's a really cool looking item. I have seen one that sold on Facebook that I believe was missing the remote, but did include the elevator. That one sold for about $450. So just a few data points for those of you that like that sand crawler. Next up was a baggie, the ESB-H baggie for Luke Skywalker in his X-Wing pilot gear. This is one I believe I had on my What to Buy video, and it was listed at $150, and then the seller took it off the market and put it back on at $125, and then it very quickly sold right after that. So pretty good deal on an X-Wing Luke baggie. Now we're going to dig into the last 17, and there were a bunch of last 17 that sold, all at auction from several different sellers. In this case, this was the Ramba, complete with the coin and his spear, and it looked to be in really great condition. That one sold for $138 on 14 bids. Pretty good deal there. Next up was Warwick. Warwick also included his bow and his quiver, his hood, and the coin that came on that Power of the Force card back. That one sold for $180 in an auction, plus $7 shipping. Next up was the last 17 General Lando, complete with the correct black Palace blaster as well as the coin. That one sold for $210.50 plus $7 shipping on 40 bids. 40 bids on that one, so a lot of action there. This one looked to be in really great shape overall. You can see how clean that Lando General looked. Next up was the Luke Skywalker Battle Poncho, so we're starting to increase in price a little bit here. This one also included the Palace blaster as well as the coin. That one sold for $240, another fair price. These usually sell for between $225 and $250 ungraded, loose complete without the coin. So this one included the coin, and you got it for $240 plus $7 shipping. So that's a good buy there. Next up, we've got the Awing Pilot, another very expensive one, especially because of that little AT ST Blaster, except it came in black. This one has the coin. That one sold for $280, another very fair price. And this one looked to be in really clean condition. This is one that usually has a lot of wear to that silver apparatus on his chest. This one looked very, very clean overall. No wear to the hands that I can see. And $280 is a good buy there. I've seen these sell for as high as $325 or more without the coin. So $280 with the coin is a great buy. Next up was the Imperial Gunner. This is another one that's always very expensive, and this one did not have any wear to the emblems or to the belt buckle, the two most common areas where the Imperial Gunner gets wear. So this was 80 plus or 85 grade condition. One little scratch on the left leg there, as you can see by the hip, but overall really clean condition, again with the coin, and that one sold for $303. That's another really good buy there. Next up was the Luke Skywalker in his Stormtrooper disguise with the very hard to find coin. So another really nice looking last 17 figure. This one did have some kind of discoloration to the arms as well as the legs. You can see the obvious color difference between the legs and arms and the very white torso. The head looked to be in great shape though. That one sold for $396 with the coin. So I think that was a really great price for, let's call it a 75 plus or 80 grade condition Luke Stormy. Next up, another seller, LM Lane. We've talked about his sales in the past. He had a number of different last 17 figures that sold here again recently. He has an endless supply of last 17 figures, and he had yet another Amanamon. He sold a few of these here recently. This one looked very clean. It did have some wear to the hand there. As you can see, his right hand's got some scratches there. But again, another very clean last 17. Maybe one little chip on his ugly forehead there, his Neanderthal forehead. That one sold for $204.25. I think that's a pretty good buy for not a super mint condition, but still very good condition, probably 75 plus or 80 grade. And that one again sold for $204. EV99, we all know how expensive that one is. This one was 100% complete and advertised in really good condition. That one sold for $347. In very high grade AFA 85s, they can sell for as much as $700. So $347 was a good deal there. Here was another last 17 data point for Yak Face. This one did have some scratching on the hands there, as you can see. But overall, pretty great shape. Probably overall, 75 plus condition. And I say 75 plus because it looks like it does have some torso discoloration on his shirt there. At least on one side. It looks like it's starting to yellow a little bit. But that's still sold for $600. Now, for a reference point, there was an AFA 85 that sold at auction, old case style, that sold for almost this exact same price. So this one went a little bit higher relative to the AFA 85 example. Next up, we've got Size Snoodles and the Rebo band. Loose complete with the Tri-Logo box. That one sold for $185.50. I thought that was a really good buy there. Always tough to tell the condition, but you can see very clearly that Max Rebo's got some discoloration going on, not nearly as blue as some of the examples we've seen here recently in these videos. And Size Snoodles also has some discoloration on his arms and legs there. So probably about right for one that's in 75 grade condition. Next up was the indoor Forest Ranger vehicle, the mini rig, and this one was complete with the insert as well as the catalog as well as the Tri-Logo box, as you can see there. That one sold for $153.50 in an auction on 14 bids. Next up, this was an interesting one. This was a Power of the Force Princess Leia Bouche coin. Now, these were mailaways, and this seller was representing a Kenner employee that had some overstock Bouche coins. So this is what he sold, and you can tell it's rare because of the final sales price just for the coin. It sold for $435 plus $12.65 shipping. And again, you can see here in the auction it shows an old Kenner employee's business card. And so it's just kind of an interesting sale of an uncirculated coin that I guess you could mail away to get. And so this was not produced in big numbers. Obviously, Bouche did not appear on the Power of the Force card bag other than maybe in prototype or sales sample format. So very expensive coin, $435 for that one. And then we've got some Ewoks line of toys. These were loose and in near mint condition. First is Logray. That one sold for $103.51 on 12 bids. That's a nice looking figure there. But obviously one of the most expensive Ewoks line figures is the animated Wicket with his spear. And this one sold for $315. Mint on card. These can sell for $700 to $800 if they're in really good condition. So Just for the figure, though, $315 in an auction. So that shows you how expensive that animated style Wicket can be. So anyway, I hope you found some good data points for those of you out there hunting for loose, complete, vintage Star Wars figures. Thanks so much for watching as always, and I'll be back soon.